I'm Philip Dickinson, and I'm a lecturer in English literature and creative writing here at Lancaster. And I'm talking with Samah Naseem. Thank you very much for coming and talking to me.
No
I'm just going
problem
to
at
ask
all.
you a few questions about your experience studying here at Lancaster. So could you tell us about your degree, what you're studying, at what stage you're at?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a fourth year PhD candidate. So I'm in the kind of final stages of my PhD, and I am researching contemporary North African fiction, looking at the representation of men and masculinity. So it's kind of MENA region English fiction, and it's very post-colonial in that sense.
It's really interesting. I mean, I should say that I'm your co-supervisor, so
Yeah.
I'm very interested in your project,
Thank you.
which is about Egyptian and Libyan literature.
Yeah.
How did you develop that interest, and why did you decide to pursue it here at Lancaster?
So I actually did my undergraduate degree at Lancaster, and Lancaster has a really wide variety of courses and subjects that you're able to study. And in my third year, I was studying a contemporary Arab fiction module, and I was writing an essay about men and masculinity in a specific book. And I was struggling to find research to quote and to look at to kind of build up my argument. And it kind of showed me that there was a little bit of a gap in the research that was already out at the moment. And from there, it was just something that I knew I wanted to study because I had such an interest in it. And, you know, there was a gap in what was already being produced. So I actually went away to do my master's at a different institution. And during that time, it kind of reaffirmed for me that Lancaster was the best choice for me and my academic journey, given the kind of academic environment that is here and the researchers here and the professors that we have. And so I knew I wanted to come back and continue my studying.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about Lancaster as a community, as an academic community, as an intellectual community.
Yeah.
So as you've mentioned, I mean, your topic, which is very original, relates to lots of the research that's undertaken here. And there are also other students who are working in areas that are kind of cognate with yours.
Yeah.
Other students interested in
Absolutely.
Arab world literatures, for example. So how have you found Lancaster as a community?
So what I think is really important and really helpful is that the academic environment here is really diverse. So there's loads of different research projects happening all the time, and all of our sort of teachers and professors are constantly researching and writing and developing in their own fields. So there is like a plethora of expertise. No matter what you want to research, there is somebody here who is probably engaging in similar topics as you. And it's so helpful to have that kind of guidance and to have that supporting creative environment. And it really does encourage others to kind of have that same approach to their research. So for me, it was about finding professors who could help guide me in an area, which Lancaster definitely had. But it also has professors who just show interest and therefore share their ideas and techniques with you. You know, we have professors here who write in about dystopian fiction, that do creative writing, and who study postcolonialism, contemporary literature, gender, all sorts of things, which means no matter where my research takes me, there's somebody who is here to encourage me or to guide me or just to offer me a reading, you know, suggestion or something, which is really great. And I think that because students are able to show their interest and sort of craft their essays in a way that allows them to look at what they're interested in, it really does help us grow that passion for research. You know, when you do a PhD, it's a long process. Yeah. It takes a long time. So you have to care about what you're doing. And I'm not only able to care, but I'm able to show where my passion lies and follow those threads of thought in my research with the correct guidance, which is a really unique and really special environment that's been cultivated here at Lancaster, I think. Yeah. And I love it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's really great to hear you say that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the PhD at Lancaster in English literature is an independent project, right?
Yeah.
It's you're developing your own topic and your own way into that topic with supervision. And it strikes me from what you're saying that kind of communal context has been really helpful for you.
It's really great. Like you said, I've spoken to other students and it can be quite isolating when you're studying something so specific. It differs from undergrad when other people are researching similar books or similar areas because you are looking at something quite niche. But I think what's really good about Lancaster is they have also given space and created opportunity for interaction, not only between other PhD students. You know, I take part in a reading group that hosts other PhDs from other universities as well. And also we run projects in the university that give opportunity for people to build skills and meet people with similar interests. But also, I think that especially as PhDs, we are encouraged to participate in sort of the academic environment on the level of, say, you know, associate lecturers and talk to them and see how their books are going. So it never feels lonely in that sense or isolating. It always feels like there is a way to meet other people, build your interest, and it's really helpful and healthy, definitely.
Yeah. And you've also been participating in research projects.
I have, yes.
Led by other academics, which I think is really interesting.
It's really great. It's something I didn't think that I would get to do during my PhD. I thought, you know, I had an idea before I started that it was just going to be me and a bunch of books for 4 years. But actually, I've had the opportunity to take part in the book club that I mentioned, a research project under Professor Lindsay Moore, who's my other supervisor. And we're looking at sort of counter mapping and memory mapping, which is really cool.
Yes.
And I've also taken part in things like cinema clubs with the with film and people like that. And that's been really interesting because we did Iranian cinema, which was something slightly attached to my research area, but not directly. But it makes you sort of not only a well-rounded researcher, but also part of something larger in this kind of academic environment. And it really helps build your CV if you're looking to work in academics or really in any profession that, you know, requires these kind of transferable skills later on down the line.
Yeah, that's really great. If I were to ask you one thing that you've learned from writing your PhD, what would that be?
I think it would be, I suppose this is two things, but be confident and be patient, because you need to take the time to consider what you want to do and make sure that you're happy with your research area and that you have given it your all. So it definitely takes patience, you know. A thesis doesn't happen overnight. But also you've got to be confident because there is so much work that can be done, so much research you can do, so many books you can read. So you've got to know, you know, when you're happy with your work before you go down too many rabbit holes, and feel confident with your own research because, you know, there's always something else you can read and something else you can research. But I think eventually you have to be happy and tie a bow on your work and say, I've given it my all and I'm happy with what I've produced.
Yes, I think that's a very important skill.
Yeah, definitely. Take some time to learn it, but I also think I've been encouraged with that and really helped through finding my own academic voice.
Yes, that's great. Well, thank you, Sam. Thank you very much for answering my questions.
And thank you for having me.
It's great to have you at Lancaster. It's great to have you as my PhD student.
Oh, thank you. I like being here, I really do.
Cool.